screen, right? Yeah, I know, I understand. And it was the same thing last time as well. Brian, so C1 equals to 1 is fine, but C2 equals to n is not fine, because remember these constants cannot depend on n at all. Right? Okay. So if we assume that A is going to be smaller than n, in that particular situation, we can say that n plus A will grow less than equal to 2n. Right? If that is the case, we can say that if we raise both of those to the power of b, then n plus A raised to the power of b will grow slower than 2n to the power of b. Right? Okay. Now we can also break this down into 2 to the power of b and n to the power of b. Right? Yes. So we have, if n plus A is less than equals to 2n, because we assume that A is going to be smaller than n, then we have n plus A raised to the power of b is going to grow slower than 2 to the power of b times n to the power of b. So this particular equation, if you notice, is weirdly similar to this particular part of the thing that we need to prove. That is n plus A to the power of b, yep, got that, less than equal to C2 n to the power of b. So in this particular situation, we can say that C2 is 2 to the power of b. Right? Now, this basically defines the upper bound of your equation. Now, the lower bound can be done by that other assumption, that is the mod of A is going to be less than or equal to n by 2. So in that situation, we can say that n plus A, again doing the same thing as this thing. So if we assume that A is always going to be less than or equal to n by 2, at least the mod of A, can someone tell me what this would be? So if mod of A is less than or equal to n by 2, again A could be negative or positive, but I am saying it is going to be within n by 2 range. So n, we can either add n plus n by 2, or we can either add n minus n by 2.
We can do like 3/2 n.
3/2 n, right? So 3 by 2 n. And basically using the same process, we can then say that C1, basically as raising both of the sides with power of 2, power of b, we can say that C1 is basically going to be the constant 3 by 2 raised to the power of b. So now we have both of those constants, and we can then say that we have C1, we have C2, and essentially that means that we can then bound a particular equation n plus A raised to the power of b within these bounds. But on the other hand, you can also use the limit function as some others did before. I forget who did it because the chat got disconnected. But essentially, you can also use a limit bound, divide both of the sides by n to the power of b. That makes it 1 plus A by divided by n to the power of b raised to the power of b divided by 1. And that also gets you the limit of 1, and that also proves that it is theta of 1. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, so then we also have the concept. So we talked about big O, we talked about big omega, we talked about big theta. Now we are going to talk about small o or little o. Little o and big O are the same thing. Basically, they define the upper bound, but the difference between little o and big O is that for big O, we had a particular constant C for which, after which the equation grows. But for little o or small o, we say that for any positive constant greater than 0, this equation should hold. Right? So you can think about this as we have the equation n squared, then n cubed is little o of n squared, because for any constant n for times n cubed, it will always grow faster than n squared. right? So the limit for this particular equation is limit n tends to infinity, f of n divided by g of n equals to 0 if the limit exists. And when we say f of n belongs to the class of algorithms of little o of gn, we mean that it is an equation that belongs to g of n. Okay. So we can say that, so our limit equation basically says we have a current equation function divided by the approximating function g of n that has to be equal to 0. That is the condition for little o. That basically means that it grows much faster, much faster than our current function, right? For big O, remember it was greater than 0. For this, it has to be equal to 0 because at infinity, it has to be the 0 value. Okay. Now, let's say that we are claiming that 10n plus 5 is little o of n squared. Makes sense? Again, we have 10n plus 5 divided by n squared, but we can divide both of the sides by n squared. That makes us 10 divided by n plus 5 divided by n squared, right? And that basically means both of them, well, n tends to infinity becomes 0, right? So if you understand this, then we can also say, given f of n equals to n squared plus 10n plus 5, this is not little o of n squared. Although this is big O of n squared, this is not little o of n squared, because once we divide this equation with n squared to find the limit, we have 1 plus blah, and that blah and blah becomes 0, and we have 1, right? So that is not 0, and that is so, that means that it is not the little o of this particular equation. Somebody is drawing on the whiteboard. Are you trying to tell me something, or you need to speak out? Or is it just there?
So essentially, the n naught becomes 0 here. Is that?
Yes, n naught becomes 0, but remember that although n naught is important, we are more concerned with the values of c and c2 when we are talking about big O, small o. And essentially, when our limit becomes 0 here, it means that given some n naught, again, we have some n naught, and n naught is never 0 in little o, right? It can be 0, it cannot be 0. But we have for any constant c, it grows faster. So let's take an example to make it more clear. Let's say that we have the equation n squared plus, I don't know, n, right? Now, in this particular situation, and we can also add a constant here, but doesn't really matter.
Sorry, I think I misunderstood. So it has to be independent of the multiplying constant. That's
exactly
what we are saying.
It could be any c, any positive c. That equation has to be. Yeah. So we can say that it is larger than, I don't know, in 100, 1000, right? It is going to be still be larger because for any constant, when we multiply it with c, it is to be greater than this particular equation here. Yes. Okay. Moving on. Then we have little omega. Little omega or small omega is the same thing. So as little o is to big O, little omega is to omega or big omega. So again, it has to be an equation that always grows slower than or smaller than your current function, but for any constant c. It cannot be for any arbitrary constant. It has to be for any possible positive constant c. And for this, the limit is essentially fn by gn has to be infinity, has to equal infinity, not a positive number, not 0, has to equal infinity. So let's check this equation. So 10n squared plus 5, we say little omega n. If we perform the limit operation on this particular thing, divide both of them by n, we have 10n plus 5 divided by n. 5 divided by n tends to 0, but 10n tends to infinity. So we say that 10n squared plus 5 is little omega of n. But 10n plus 5 is not little omega of n because there is some constant that makes sure that n grows faster. So if I have a constant of 20, in that case, our function would grow faster than this particular function, 10n plus 5, right? So we can also do it using a limit, that is 10n plus 5 divided by n, divide both of them by n, 10 plus 5 by n, that gives you the number 10, right? Because 5 by n goes to 0, we have the number 10, that is not infinity, so it is not a little omega. But this would have been fine if it was big omega. But this is not, for little omega, it has to be infinite. Okay. So in general, we have limit fn by gn. If that is 0 equals to 0, we have little o. If that equals to infinity, that is little omega. And we also have the corresponding big theta for this thing. So if both of those apply, so if C is greater than 0, the output is greater, not that C, but the limit is greater than 0, we have big theta. And if both a function is little o and big theta, we can say that it is big O, because it is also bound by the value of the limit. And it is big theta and big little omega, we can say that it is big omega, because it is also bound by a big theta. Okay. Okay, I guess, yeah, I guess that's it for today. I'll stop recording. Do you have any questions?